For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm going to give you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new tent from Outdoor Revolution. This here is the Atacama PC 6.0. Excuse me. So the Atacama, as basically the name designs, is a 6-person tent, and the PC stands for polycotton. So it's a breathable polycotton tent. It's certainly something that Outdoor Revolution never really done before, so it's really nice to add it to their range, and actually it's a really nice smart model. On the base of it, it's kind of really designed on their best-selling Aerodale 6S, but in a polycotton model, and more importantly, with this additional side pod built on. But the premise in terms of sizing is very similar, as well as the spec and the overall design of the product. Generally, polycotton is a better fabric than the polyester, mainly because it's more breathable. So on a warm day like it is today, the weave of the fabric can actually expand, allow air to pass through. It's a lot cooler on the inside. On the flip side, on a cold day, the weave contracts and keeps the warmth in. So it reacts to the temperature and again makes it a much more comfortable environment, even on like a mildly warm day in the UK inside the tent. Also, in terms of its lifespan, you tend to have a longer lifespan with a polycotton tent than the polyester. The only slight drawbacks to this, in all honesty, is the fact that A, it's a little bit heavier, and B, it takes a little bit longer to dry out. One thing you need to make sure as well as when, like any tent, is when you pack it away, it's bone dry when it's packed away. Because it's obviously cotton based, you're more to get sort of mold or mildew set in if you leave it too long packed away. But really, I would leave it more. Wouldn't leave it more than sort of 48 hours sort of packed away in a bag. After that point, you need to really make sure it's up, aired, or it doesn't matter if it's up and still getting wet, as long as it's not sort of folded up in a nice warm area. Perfect sort of mold or mildew to set in. Generally, it's a free zone tent, so you've got sleeping at the back, a main living area, and then a nice enclosed canopy area at the front. Generally, it's really nice and spacious, and because it's inflatable, it's very quick and easy to put up. And you can check out our own Attwoolls Outdoors pitching packing video. It took myself no longer the best part of 13 minutes to sort of pitch this model single-handedly, which is brilliant. It means that if you're going away for a week or even a weekend, you can quite happily do that, especially if it's on your own. So if you've got kids and say one of the parents wants to take care of the kids, put a tent up, it just leaves the other one free to get involved. Generally, there's some things that you can see is quite a really nice sort of colour pattern to it. So it's like almost like a grey and very almost like a blue, like a sort of purpley blue. But I think actually it looks really quite smart. And this is kind of the little sort of little sister to the Kalahari. It's like a similar kind of design but a bigger version. But we've done a separate video for that, so of course you can check that out as well. On the front part here, you've actually got a zip located, so you can actually add an additional front awning onto that if you wanted to as well, as seen by the link below to our website. The things you've got is things like storm straps at the front and the back to give you better torsion in the roof. Little sky windows positioned in the roof allow obviously lighting without having to worry about the privacy. A nice big mesh panel on the top of the window here, as well as on the bottom to allow airflow, especially in the canopy area, but also in the main living area as seen. The little side sort of pod that's built onto it has got a sewn in ground sheet as well, so it can make it feel a part of the tent, and there's a divisional door which we'll see on the inside in a moment. Steel poles are quite easily to pitch it, and then again a really nice big mesh vent at the back beneath that sort of bedroom space. But the door situation at the front here is really quite well, because you can actually bring it, roll it from sort of either side into the middle, or roll it back all the way to one side if you want to, so you've got an ultimate amount of flexibility. Because you've got sort of essentially 4 zip runners, if you wanted to, as we'll do now, you just create a little veranda kind of scenario. That folds over. It just gives you a bit of airflow into the tent without having to have sort of front door open the whole time. So yeah, again, if you've got sort of like dogs or kids and don't want to escape, that's a great way of sort of compromising of allowing fresh air in, but having them not escaping as well. But let's go on inside of the Atacama and have a look a bit more about what it has to offer. So now inside the Atacama, you can kind of get a bit more of a grasp of certainly the sheer amount of space you've got inside of here, as well as those 3 sections. So with living area right at the back, your main sleeping area at the back, main living area, and obviously the canopy area itself. Well, we'll start off from the sort of front of the tent and work our way back. So overall, actually, you've got a really nice canopy depth in here. So it means you've got plenty of rooms on a nice day to sort of open the front door completely like we have. and have this as kind of a sheltered area just against the wind. Alternatively, if you want to use it as a cooking station, works really well as well. There's a ground sheet applied for the area, which actually is like a toggle ground sheet. So there's little toggle points just located here, and it helps to rise up, and again the beams can sit on the inside of it. So it feels like it's partly sewn in, but you've got the flexibility like we have today. It's just to remove it. Personally, I feel that I wouldn't really put it down unless you're having that door completely closed all the time. Main reason because if you open that door, as soon as any rain or water or something comes in, it's going to collect on the ground sheet rather than soak away. Same if you're cooking in this scenario here and you spill something, it just goes into the ground rather than on the ground sheet and certainly ruins it. You've got obviously two really nice PVC windows throughout the whole thing, and yet that's the joy with every single window you see in the tent, with the front panels included. You've got a curtain which zips up to give you that level of privacy when you want to as well. So you've got the ultimate amount of flexibility that you can sort of hide your stuff if you want to go away out for the day and not have to worry about, you know, people seeing what's inside the tent, for example. Generally, I think this right-hand side here lends itself very much for a great cooking facility. Main reason because the mesh vent is situated there, so it allows a great airflow as well. And again, that low-level vent which you saw on the outside just helps to encourage that. But certainly having the door sort of centralised gives you that great space for a cooking unit. You can utilise that room quite nicely. And the mesh panel again can zip up and down as you please, just to give that level of flexibility. Or if it rolls it away. And there's just little toggle points here just to kind of keep it and stop it from flapping around. Same goes for the windows as well. So throughout the tent you've got zip-up curtains. Just gives you a really nice coverage. Like I said, you've got that little bit of sky window there just to allow light to fly in when you want the privacy as well. Same with this, you can actually bring it down sort of halfway, fold it over, just to kind of give you the more amount of flexibility. On this case, we'll just allow a bit of ventilation but keep the rest of it all pretty much sorted. On the other side you've got a completely blank window as well, still PVC with a zip curtain, but the mesh is just located to that one side. Moving on to the living area, there's a slightly lower cut to the entranceway than there is with, say, the Airedale, so it's a more modern design. And again, a mesh panel on the top here just that it helps that circulation of air. Divisional door, this part is preset, but this can roll back as you can see. So there's a zip located on the back here. So you've got a fixed panel and also a mesh panel. The fixed panels, which you can see here, has also a window going through, again with the old zip curtains. But it gives that flexibility. You can create a nice sort of flow from the main living area into the canopy area, or if you want to just sort of, so that'll just go back there. There's a little toggle retainer, so you can just kind of roll that back. And then just toggle it back at so. That way it's all sort of sorted. And again, the mesh panel sort of just hides behind that door. Means you can get a great circulation of air and not have to worry about sort of the bugs and things that are coming through or keeping the dogs out. You coming in? But then again, you've got a point where you can roll the mesh back to the 6 point here as well. Or of course, like I've done with the door, kind of completely roll that back, toggle that back out the way. For the time being, I'll just dump it down there. And that also helps to give you a much better sort of seamless lip. And if you want to, you can always grab a peg and just kind of peg that lip down a little bit. Just to give you less of a trip hazard on the way in. Now in the main living area, you can kind of see there's a good amount of space inside of here. If more than happy, you can actually, like I said, with that sort of side there, put like a wardrobe unit or something in there just to really use that kind of space and almost back it against something so you're not wasting space as such. Low level ventilation, yet again, beneath all the windows like we've talked about. And on the left hand side here, you've got a mesh door with a rain safe canopy brow. What I will do in one moment is collect the camera and give you a bit more of an internal view and external view of the tent, just to kind of get your bearings a bit more about it. But that mesh panel, joys that means when it's raining, you can actually walk in and out of this door and not have to worry about the water coming down and into the tent itself. What you would sort of expect with a sort of tent of this sort of level when it comes to polycotton, but also its features, and that's something you're not really short of here. So you've got things like your storage pockets to sort of declutter the main space of the tent as well. You've got deeper bedrooms, so 130 centimetre depth bedrooms. And then again, dividers which are zipped between all the way around to make it feel like one individual bedroom. Alternatively, the flexibility, you can zip that back, open up, and make it as one big sort of 6 berth if you want to. Alternatively, make it a 2, 2 and a 2, or 4 and a 2. So you've got the flexibility there. Mesh panels located in the front of the bedrooms, again, to help that circulation of air and keep it nice and fresh. A big mesh panel right at the back throughout the tent, again, to help with that sort of condensation which does happen in tents. Great headroom inside the tent as well, not only to get changed in the mornings, but inside, even when you get to the corners. I'm about 6'2". Admittedly, I'm probably struggling a little bit right in the corner, but you can see there's a bit of space down there. So other unique features that sort of Outdoor Revolution have are things like their cable entry points into the bedroom compartment. So down located at the bottom here, there's a little zip that allows you to have your mains charger, for example, charging your phone at night, with storage pockets located nearby just to keep them at bay. You've got the system where the toggle dividers are all sort of located and color coordinated, so if you have to remove for any reason, you don't have to worry about putting it back in. Generally, I'd always probably leave that in place. You've got a hanging point for a lantern, as well as little Velcro tabs leading yourself down to cable entry points located on the side, so you can have your mains hook up through here, not a problem, and have to leave the door open the whole time. Little Velcro tabs beneath the beneath the door will allow you to have that mains cable tucked neatly away, so there's not a trip hazard when you want to go to the middle beam with the lighting system. The Outdoor Revolution also do their own Luminlight system, which essentially is up and down lighter like a lampshade, and obviously Luminlight is the actual light itself, so it looks something a little bit like this here. So a light shade itself can Velcro onto any of the beams, not only in the main living area, but also in the canopy area as well. Then you've got these little Lumi lights, which you can see here. There's 3 kind of settings you can choose, and by having that in, that reflective on the inside just helps to really give that little bit more of an extra edge to tent, and just reflects off and makes it feel very more homely, but allows you to have no sort of headroom, well, lack of headroom with head-butting lanterns, but just taking up extra space. There's also a new system that Outdoor Revolution are doing, which is a storage pocket system, quite a nice idea, that just goes around the beams quite nice and neatly. It might be worth checking out our Kalahari video, where we've got that sort of situated in there. And lastly, not forgetting, of course, this side pod here, which has got a sewn in ground sheet, so it feels as certainly one part of the actual tent. So it means you can greatly use this as a storage area or as a wardrobe space. There's a little pole located in there as well to use that as hanging points for drying towels and things like that. But there's also a door located, so you can actually zip that away. You don't have to think about it, and it's kind of, a bit of a, just a space, a dumping ground if you want to. But let's pick the camera up now, have a little bit of a walk through the inside and out, and just highlight a few more features I've yet to mention, really. So let's start externally. So as we can see, what I've done is I've dropped the door down. You can move to the side, but for the time being, I just whacked it on the floor. It just allows you to really have a nice open canopy at the front. And like I said, if you want to add on to the front, if you can do, which works really well. That little side pod there with the windows actually looks very keen. But then, really nice sort of shaping on the brow side. Now we go to the other side, we can probably get a bit more of an idea of that little brow canopy. You come on, Arch? Go on. So there's that brow canopy we're talking about. Just allows you to walk in and out of the tent when it's raining without having to have anything coming in. Low level ventilation beneath the wall of the windows. And that kind of offset door. Now you can see sort of the canopy depth you got in here. It's really quite nice. And then moving on to the living area, works really quite well. Your wardrobe sort of section, as you can see, there is a little clips located here, just as a wardrobe pole, and it's completely sewn in ground sheets. So you haven't got any sort of worry about any bugs or anything else that coming into the tent. The deeper bedroom, so it's deeper than your standard width, depth I should say, and again zip dividers going through there. The low entry points, so there's no sort of trip hazard in and out the bedroom, which works quite nicely. The storage pockets with the fluorescent kind of cable entry point into there, and even a hanging point at the back for a little light if you want to. But you see that nice big mesh panel as well, which works really, really nicely. There's your little Lumi lighters, so that works quite nicely in there. And just like I said, you've got points at every single area around the tent, just give an extra section. There's additional bedroom that can also be put in the main living area, Personally, I probably wouldn't I don't see someone of this sort of size having that extra bedroom, but it's nice to have the option. You know, it is going to take up the best part of, well, to be fair, pretty much all of your living, well, half your living space. So it means it's going to give you that much left. So I don't see as much real point for that, but it's there if you want to use it. If you've got guests staying or the kids get older and want to bring a few friends along, then why not pop it in a bedroom in there and house them in there? So, you know, you have got that level of flexibility. But overall, I think it's quite a nice tent, certainly something that sort of hits a great in terms of size points, something ideally if you're not looking to have a lot of, you know, want something a bit small, compact, but like your room as well. So perfect for couples or small families. Or if you are, I would say if you're a family of 6, I think it'd be a little bit tight, even though it's sort of aimed at the 6 people, because you've only got sort of 120 width bedrooms. I think you're struggling a little bit for size really. You're better off maybe going for something like the Kalahari or some other models. Worth model to compare this to, I'd say, is definitely going to be something like the Vango Capula 550 XL. It's actually the same width, but it's slightly based on a 3 and a 2 rather than a 6 berth. So that's also worth a look at. But overall, quite a smart model, certainly a really nice model into the Polycotton collection for Outdoor Revolution. And other things that I've not mentioned actually, how can I forget, is their self-regulating valve. So it's a valve system that means that you don't have to worry about how much pressure you're putting in the tube itself. You can actually pump away, and as soon as you get a little puff of air from the valve system itself, that's when you know it's up to the right temperature. Right pressure. Again, if it's a warm day and you get an increase of heat and the air inside the tube was to expand at all, it just lets a little bit out. So it's a more of a safety thing. And again, you've also got Outdoor Revolution's lifetime warranty on the tubes, which, yeah, again, I think kind of speaks for itself in many ways. But overall, good model. Something we'll have up in some form in our indoor showroom in Gloucestershire. So it's probably worth popping down and certainly seeing this, if not seeing the Airedale 6S model. But yeah, let us know what you think. Comment below. I'll obviously check out our other videos we've got on other tents as well. But for more information, check the link in our box below or things. And thank you for watching.